Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection, and access to daily news digests from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post, as well as guided meditation programs. Between a full-time job in IT and a full-time job in podcasting, it gets harder and harder to sit down and read the books I'm interested in. This is where Audible comes in. I can listen on my daily commute, relaxing, or while out running errands and still get in the books I've been wanting to get into. You can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. The app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. Now you can try Audible risk-free with a special 30-day free trial by visiting audibletrial.com/Nerdery and Murdery. That's audibletrial.com/Nerdery and Murdery. Don't let your busy life get in the way of that great book you've been wanting to read. Go get your free trial of Audible today. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. This is Geoffrey, and we've talked about many times before that I experience problems and struggles with my mental health, and really without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy does work. It's helped for me, but what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships at work, or you're not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's really time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles, and it's time to start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And there's a special offer to Nerdery and Murdery listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/Nerdery and Murdery. That's betterhelp.com/Nerdery and Murdery. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast.
Not only did they rip off this show, they ripped off both of the spin-offs.
You cut out. They ripped off what?
Both of the spin-offs.
Oh, okay. Welcome to episode 213 of Nerdery and Murdery.
Big 213. I'm Zig with your Nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd. I found a new product online that I've actually very much enjoyed. If they want to sponsor us, they can. But it's called Drift.
Drift.
Yeah, it's an air freshener for your car. You can get stuff for your home too, which I've actually got one for the house and for the car. But you can either get these little bricks. They're not bricks. They're small, but little bricks of either wood or stone that are soaked in essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good. I put
one
in the car. Yes, Drift is good. It's not that expensive either.
Nice.
Lasts about 30 days. You can get another a refill brick for like $10, $12, something like that. Maybe 14. I don't remember, but yeah, I put one in the car. It's very overpowering at first, but then it really calms off. It has this little sunshade visor with a magnet on it that holds the thing in place. It's really
cool.
I recommend it. I think Drift is really cool. I've been very happy with them.
Drift. If you want to sponsor us, Drift.
Yes, if you want to sponsor us, please do. I'd love to talk more about you. Construction is still going on in the house.
Yay.
our contractor is very um, gone. He doesn't communicate at all. We've actually ended up hiring somebody to come in and finish the paint that's been supposed to be done for months now, and I'm going to charge the contractor for this.
Hmm.
I'm charging him for that. I'm charging him for the exterminator. I saw the rat the other night.
Yay.
It's fucking huge. Um, I got to get the exterminator out on Monday since I saw the damn thing. We're going to have to put I guess we're gonna have to put a kill trap out in the garage because that's where I saw him. And he scurried away. It was middle of the night, and I had to go out the garage for something. And I saw the damn thing. It's huge. It's
Big ol'
huge.
rat.
Yeah, I when I was feeding the dogs this morning, I saw these yellow pellets, little
Hmm.
mini pellets in the dog food because we've got a big plastic bin
Yeah.
that we keep the dog food in. And I'm like, what are these little pellets? And I scooped them out and threw them away. And that's when I noticed the hole in the top of the plastic bin that had been chewed through. So that's
Ah,
remnants of the plastic that made its way into the food. This damn thing is a menace. So yeah, we've had to hire somebody. We're probably looking for some more people that we're going to have to hire to finish off this job because I'm tired of living in this half finished house.
yep.
Um, we've got some of it done, but there's still so much to do, and we're tired of waiting. So, um, I finished Strange New Worlds this week.
Hmm.
Um,
We're getting some new episodes. Actually, by
Next
the time
month.
this episode airs, we should have
Yep,
some new
yep,
ones out.
in July. Um, Season 2 of Strange New Worlds, I could absolutely see why it was nominated for an Emmy.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. The Lower Decks episode was phenomenal. I love the shit out of that episode. There's more Kirk
Yes.
in season 2. Um, I'm kind of back on forth on whether I kind of like him, but he's kind of not Kirk, but he kind of is Kirk.
Well, that's the thing.
Um,
He hasn't been put in command yet.
I know, but the episode where Singh went back in time,
Hmm.
or to an alternate timeline, whatever. Yeah, it was back in time, it was backwards in time, and fell in love with Kirk was a brilliant episode,
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. I'm fascinated by the fact that the Gorn is the big bad. I mean, yes, you've got Klingons in it, but the Gorn is the big bad.
Yep.
They're very different from the Gorn from the original Star Trek. The war episode was brilliant. The one
Hmm.
where the Doctor and Nurse Chapel
Hmm.
they flash back to the war. Brilliant episode. And then strangely enough, the musical episode
I
was
love the musical episode.
brilliant.
Hmm.
I don't know, were other people singing or was it really them singing? I'd be very curious to know because there were some powerful voices in there, especially Spock's solo
Yeah,
was
no,
really good.
it was them singing.
Okay, I was wondering about that because a musical episode was brilliant. Strange
That's
New
why you
Worlds,
get theater people. They can all sing.
I guess, yeah. So, when we had covered the Strange New Worlds episode, I had not finished the series yet, but we just finished it this week. And episode or season 1 is very good. Season 2 is next level good.
Hmm.
It's almost it's almost like every other Star Trek series. Season 1, they're kind of learning their footing and everything
Yeah.
and trying to, and then season 2 just takes off. So many Star
Hmm.
Trek series do this, and Strange New Worlds is no different. Strange New Worlds season 2 was brilliant, and I can't wait for season 3. I
Season
think
three.
they're releasing 3 or 4 episodes right away.
Yes.
Um, so I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait to dive in. And yeah, it's by the time this episode comes out, the new season will be out. So give it a watch if you haven't. We covered it back in episode whatever. Uh, as,
A
as
few
part of our
episodes back.
as part of our chronology in Star Trek. So anyway, that's all I had. You got anything? Or are you ready to step over to the nerdy side of the house?
I'm ready to step over to the nerdery side of the house.
Groovis, get it on.
Okay. I'm going to start by saying this for our listeners in England, and we do have them for our British listeners.
Yes.
First part of this episode, you're not going to understand any of it. What's funny is So there were 3 separate series that were connected, a series and 2 spinoffs that were wildly popular in Britain. We made a version of all 3 of them, which 2 of them were, one was wildly popular, the other 2 not so much. We never got the British one over here. They never got the American one over there. But it's basically the same show. Three's Company. Every episode is the same anyway.
Kinda.
It's American television sitcom that aired for 8 seasons on ABC from March 15th, 1977 to September 18th, 1984, developed by Don Nichols, Michael Ross, and Bernie West. It is based on the British sitcom Man About the House, created by Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer. The story revolves around 3 single roommates, Jack Tripper, Janet Wood, and Chrissy Snow, who all platonically live together in Santa Monica, California.
So stop there real quick. Centered around those 3 originally.
Yes. The apartment complex owned by Stanley and Helen Roper.
Originally.
The show, a farce, chronicles the escapades and hijinks of the trio's constant misunderstandings, social lives, and financial struggles. A top 10 hit from 1977 to 1983, the series has remained popular in syndication and through DVD releases. The show also spawned similar spin-offs to those that Man of the House had, The Ropers and Three's a Crowd, based upon George and Mildred for the Ropers and Robin's Nest, respectively. So, florist Janet Wood, played by Joyce DeWitt, and secretary Chrissy Snow, played by Suzanne Summers, live in Santa Monica, sharing a multi-bedroom apartment with their roommate, Eleanor, played by Marion Black. When Eleanor decides to move out, culinary school student Jack Tripper, played by John Ritter, crashes her going away party at the apartment and is found by Janet and Chrissy the next morning, passed out in the bathtub. Needing someone to cover Eleanor's share of the rent, the woman offered to let Jack move in with them, and he quickly accepts so that he can have a place to stay other than the local YMCA. However, the overbearing landlord, Stanley Roper, played by Norman Fell, refuses to allow unmarried men and women to live together in his apartment. He allows Jack to move in only after Janet tells him that Jack is a homosexual. Although Stanley's wife, Helen Roper.
So pause there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put a framework around that real quick. So this show took place in the 1970s, and it was considered inappropriate by many for single women to be living with a single heterosexual man.
Yes.
This was the 70s, where the age of tolerance hadn't developed yet.
No. Well, I mean, it had in like LA and New York and Chicago, but nowhere else. And even in parts of those places, it's like, I don't know if I'd try that.
Well, and this was just outside of LA.
Yeah. San Diego, I think.
San Diego, yes.
Or Santa Monica. Sorry.
Santa Monica, thank you.
Honestly, and having a gay character also, it just didn't really happen on television.
Right.
But he wasn't actually gay. Stanley's wife, Helen Roper, quickly figures out that Jack is not gay, and she trusts him with the girls and keeps the secret from Stanley, who tolerates Jack but mocks him. Frequently siding with the 3 roommates instead of her husband, Helen's bond with them grows through the couple's departure, leading them to the spinoff of The Ropers. Jack continues the charade when new building manager Ralph Furley, played by Don Knotts, takes over the apartment complex because Mr. Furley insists that his hard-nosed brother and the building's new owner, Bart Furley, would also never tolerate such living situations. Honestly, Ralph Furley doesn't care. Jack eventually meets a love interest, Vicky Bradford, played by Mary Carteret, which leads into Three's a Crowd. After Norman Fell and Audra Lindley left the series in 1979 for their own sitcom, The Ropers, Don Knotts joined the cast as the roommate's new building manager, Ralph Furley. Following Suzanne Summers' departure in 1980, Jenna Lee Harrison joined the cast as Chrissy's first cousin, Cindy Snow, and she was soon replaced with Priscilla Barnes as Terry Alden. There are a couple of episodes with both Cindy and Terry in them.
Yes. Yeah.
in the crossover episodes. And I kind of wish Christy had come back too. So that's Three's Company. And again, that show is about people hearing things the wrong way and always assuming that there's something going on and there really isn't.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and it's hysterical. John Ritter is so good. The late John Ritter. He's so good in this. Mary Carteret was amazingly hot.
yeah,
Um,
she was.
but
She
was
had
it the
great big
same episode?
eyes.
Was it the same episode every time? No, but yeah. It was always about misunderstandings of things that were overheard.
Yeah.
Um, and it it was just funny. Jack Tripper was a 1970s Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
Because he would have accidents and pratfalls and things like that,
Hmm.
and it was just hysterical. And he had a crush on Chrissy
Hmm.
for a long time. Didn't seem to have the same
Janet,
with Janet or the other two,
Cindy, or Terry.
Cindy and Terry. He briefly kind of had a little bit of a crush on Terry.
Hmm.
But Terry was a very welcome addition to the cast because Terry was able to hold her own against Jack the way the other two roommates,
Really
not
didn't.
counting Janet, really didn't.
Oof.
Because
Yeah.
Terry was a nurse and very smart.
Yeah.
And the episode where she is introduced is a very touching episode where uh, Jack's trying to get rid of her. He doesn't like her
Uh-huh.
at first, and she ends up turning the tables on him. And it's actually a very touching episode. I've seen every episode of Three's Company time and time again,
There
as
were a lot. It
well
was
as
on
Three's
for
a
a
Crowd.
long time.
Yeah. I watched Three's a Crowd. I love Three's a Crowd as well. It wasn't as good as Three's Company. And the Ropers, not as much as those two.
Yeah.
The Ropers were okay. They didn't really hold their own as a show by themselves. There you
The
go.
next,
There's my review.
thank you. That's great. The next show we're going to talk about is Man About the House.
Hmm.
Man About the House is a British sitcom created by Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer. It starred Richard O'Sullivan, Paula Wilcox, Sally Tomsett, Eutha Joyce, and Brian Murphy. 6 series were broadcast on ITV from August 15th, 1973 to April 7th, 1976. The series was considered daring at the time because it featured a man sharing a London flat with 2 single women. The show was made by Thames Television and recorded at its Teddington Studios in Greater London and is regularly repeated on ITV3. 2 spin-off series were later made, George and Mildred and Robin's Nest. A film version was released in 1974, and the series was remade in the United States as Three's Company in 1977. Man About the House placed 69th in a 2004 poll to find Britain's best sitcom. So, here's the story about Man About the House. Christy and Joe live in a London flat together and work for the same firm. The women find a stranger, student chef Robin Tripp, asleep in their bath the morning after their farewell party to their department flatmate, Eleanor. When he meets the 2 girls, Robin has been in London 2 days, having moved from Southampton to attend university. The girls are unimpressed with Gabrielle, Helen Fraser, as a potential replacement for Eleanor, but they are impressed by Robin's culinary skills, as they cannot cook at all. Learning that Robin has been staying at the YMCA, they convince him to move in on the understanding that it will be a platonic relationship. Chrissy tells landlord George Roper and that Robin is gay to eliminate George's objection to the mixed-sex living arrangement. George, in truth, is subletting landlord placed by the council, is a miserly, spiteful, and unkempt man under the thumb of his domineering wife, sexually frustrated Mildred. In the second episode, Robin's true sexuality becomes known to Mildred. She takes out her frustrations with George's lack of class and sexual inadequacies by making suggestive remarks to Robin and frequently siding with the tenants against George. Mildred openly flirts with Robin, and Robin frequently flirts with Chrissy and Joe. The girls adhere to the pledge to maintaining a platonic relationship with Robin. They spurn his mild advances and adapt to his presence in the flat. Chrissy occasionally shows attraction to Robin, but the two never pursue any romantic interactions. Robin's friend Larry a lovable rogue, appears on a recurring basis throughout the series. In the third series, he moves into the loft apartment above the trio's apartment and is a frequent source of trouble. Another occasional cast member is George's friend, the dodgy builder Jerry, played by Roy Kinnear. Jerry is the only supporting character to reappear in the spinoff George and Mildred. Robin's brother, Norman Tripp, uh, appears in the final three episodes of the sixth and final series and starts a romance with Chrissy. The series ends with Norman and Chrissy marrying. Ashley had a previously guest role in the episode In Praise of Older Men and would subsequently appear as another character of the Roper's neighbor in George and Mildred. So that's the Robin's Nest, or not the Robin's Nest. I'm sorry, Man About the House.
Right. So I'm a little confused.
Uh-huh.
Because the way you were saying this, were you intimating that Three's Company was stolen from this?
Yes.
So I'm going to disagree with you considerably.
Uh-huh.
The end credits of every Three's Company episode said based on the sitcom Man About the House.
This is Man About the House.
Yeah, I know. That's one thing. I don't think they stole it. I think they actively took it and adapted it for America.
Yeah, in the same way that Norman Lear did.
Yeah, because they give credit at the end of every episode. That's why I've always known about Man About the House, because it was always in the end credits for Three's Company.
What amazes me about Man About the House is how quickly they adapted it, because Man About the House was on, between 73 and 76. Three's Company started production while it was still on. Now, granted, they aired in 77, early 77, or September, because, American television always starts in September, or it used to. But it's like, holy shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was stolen as
much. No, it was
adapted. It was adapted, and I think I think they
but adapted doesn't make a great stab.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I don't want anybody to think that they just blatantly stole it and tried to move on with their lives. I think the American producers and Norman Lear and all that saw this British comedy show and thought, dude, we could make this a hit in America. Here we go.
We need to set it. We need to set it someplace sunny. So they picked Santa Monica.
They absolutely did, and it worked. Three's Company was a huge hit, and I believe, if I recall correctly, did we have no? Because Three's Company was ABC.
Yes.
Three's Company was the same night as Happy Days on Laverne and Shirley. That's what
it was.
That's what it was. What was the fourth? Because I know they had a fourth.
You know what? I want to say they rotated it in and out.
Maybe.
Because at one point it was the Ropers, and then at one point it was Joni Loves Chachi, and then at one point it was something else, and then something else.
Yeah. But I never got a chance to see Man About the House.
I don't think they ever. I honestly don't think anybody ever showed it over here.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like I said, they never showed Three's Company over in England either, from what I understand. So it's like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
So the next series we're going to talk about is The Ropers. The Ropers is an American sitcom television series that aired on ABC from March 13th, 1979 to May 15th, 1980. Wow. It did not last long at all.
Mm-mm.
It is a spinoff of Three's Company and loosely based on the British sitcom George and Mildred, which was itself a spinoff of Man About the House, on which Three's Company was based. It was taped at CBS Television City in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles, where its parent series, Three's Company, was taping at the same time. From February to April 1979, and from July 1979 to February 1980. So the Ropers had 2 seasons. The series focused on couple Stanley and Helen Roper, who were landlords to Jack, Janet, and Chrissy on Three's Company. In the series spinoff, the Ropers have sold their apartment building to the Three's Company episode An Anniversary Surprise, Season 3, Episode 20, to live in the upmarket community of Cheviot Hills, where the social climbing Helen struggled to fit in with her neighbors. Stanley made little attempt to fit in with the standards of the community, thereby causing Helen much embarrassment. As was the case during their time on Three's Company, opening credits for the Ropers alternated between Audra Lindley and Norman Fell being credited first. After the enormous success of Three's Company in its short first season, ABC head Fred Silverman was anxious to capitalize on the show's success. In early 77, Silverman approached Bell and Lindley with the subject of doing a spinoff from the show after its first full season wrapped. In the spring of 1978, both actors, as well as the Three's Company producer, backed off as the show had yet to prove itself for an entire season. With the show's continuing success in its second season, however, the idea was brought up again in 78, this time by Three's Company's own producers, as well as the new ABC head, Tony Thomopoulos. Silverman had gone to NBC at the time. The idea intrigued Lindley and but Fell was extremely reluctant as he was satisfied with his role in the show that was already a proven hit. Norman Fell also broke the fourth wall in both shows.
Yeah.
He would look at the audience and smile. Apparently, that was something they picked up from George and Mildred. I don't think they did it in Man About the House, but he did do it in George and Mildred.
Yeah, he would look at the camera and give a little smile when he felt he had done or said something particularly clever.
Fell feared that a spinoff would be unsuccessful and thus put him out of a good role and a job. To alleviate his fears, Three's Company producers contractually promised Fell that they would give the new series a year to prove itself. If the show were to be canceled prior to that time, that he and Lindley would return to Three's Company. A reluctant Fell agreed to the new terms. Like Three's Company, The Ropers was introduced as a late season replacement series in the spring of 1979, premiering in the same night as Three's Company on ABC's successful Tuesday night lineup. In its first season, the ratings for the show were very high. The show finished at 8 for the 1978-79 season and had the second highest series premiere rating at the time. After the season premiere, Three's Company went on hiatus, but the Ropers still did well. ABC reran the episodes over the summer of 1979, while they continued to achieve high ratings, leading many to believe the series would enjoy a nice long run. At the beginning of the 79-80 season, ABC moved the show to Saturdays at 8 p.m. Nobody watches sitcoms on Saturday night. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Rather than ABC's Tuesday night lineup, causing an immediate fall to the bottom 10. The show was in direct competition with the NBC show Chips. The last 3 episodes aired Thursdays at 9:30 behind Barney Miller in 1980. Audra Lindley stated in Chris Mann's 1997 book about Three's Company that she was surprised that the Ropers had been canceled after a late season surge in the series rating that allowed it to finish 1979 to 1980 season as number 25. The Nielsen's ratings for that year, however, list the series Soap at number 25. With the series cancellation, Fell approached the Three's Company's producer about the Ropers returning to the show. However, during that time, the Ropers was on the air. The landlord character had been replaced on Three's Company with Ralph Furley, played by Don Knotts. The audition had worked well, and Three's Company had retained its popularity. I think the show actually worked a little bit better with Jack Furley.
Agreed.
He's just funny.
Yeah.
What's really sad is that's the first time we get to see Geoffrey Tambor in a sitcom, and he was really good in the Ropers.
Mm-hmm.
Barring anything going on about Geoffrey Tambor, he was really good in the Ropers. But it failed. And didn't do really well. And I think it's ABC's fault. I don't think the show itself was that bad. You go into our playlist right now and look at our Three's Company and more. We've got episode of Man About the House, a whole bunch of episodes of Three's Company, episode of George and Mildred, an episode of The Ropers, an episode of Robin's Nest, and a snippet of Three's a Crowd. You can judge for yourself. All of this stuff is really funny. Because I have sat down and watched it. I'm like, oh man, this Man About the House is pretty comical. But now we're going to talk about George and Mildred. It is a British sitcom produced by Thames Television and first aired between 76 and 79. It is a spin-off of Man About the House and starred Brian Murphy and Eutha Joyce as constantly sparring married couple George and Mildred Roper. The premise of the series had George and Mildred leaving their flat as depicted in A Man About the House and moving to a modern, upmarket housing estate in Hampton Wick. Their arrival horrifies their snobbish neighbors, Geoffrey Mile, a middle-class estate agent who fears the Roper's presence will devalue his home. It was written by Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer. Like many British sitcoms, George and Mildred was made into a film. The movie was dedicated to actress Eutha Joyce, who died suddenly in August of 1980, just as the cast was about to film a sixth and final series. So unlike Three's Company, George and Mildred unlike the Ropers, George and Mildred ran for several seasons. Well, 3 seasons, 3 series, and then they made a movie. They also would show back up on Man About the House, whereas in the Ropers didn't really ever come back. I think there was like one episode where the Ropers came back.
I don't remember that. I don't remember them coming. They may have.
Yeah, I think, but it was like just a little quick thing. So George and Mildred Roper left their old house after receiving a compulsory purchase order from the council and moved to 46 Peacock Crescent in Hampton Wick. And while Mildred enjoys the chance to better herself in her new surroundings, she is always being thwarted, usually by the lazy, inept, and generally unemployable George, who had no interest in climbing the social ladder and also continues to show a lack of interest in sexual relations with Mildred. George and Mildred, like I said, I watched it. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was just as funny as the Ropers. It has definitely more of a British tint to it, more of a British feel, but I like it. It's definitely one you want to check out if you haven't seen it. Just like our English listeners, check out the Ropers. You might like it. The next series is Three's a Crowd, also known as Three's Company 2. In the Three's Company syndication package. It's an American sitcom, produces a spinoff and continuation of Three's Company that aired on ABC from September 25th, 1984, 1 week after the final episode of Three's Company was broadcast, and it ran until April 9th of 1985, with reruns airing until September 10th of 1985. It is loosely based on the British sitcom Robin's Nest, which was itself a spinoff of Man About the House, in which Three's Company was based. In Three's Company final episode, Vicky Bradford, Madeline Carteret, is introduced as the love interest of Jack Tripper, John Ritter, beginning with the episode titled Cupid Works Overtime. In the following 2-part episodes, Friends and Lovers, Jack proposes marriage, but Vicky, afraid of marriage after witnessing her parents' tumultuous relationship and bitter divorce, declines the offer. Vicky instead convinces Jack to move in with her in the vacant apartment above his restaurant, Jack's Bistro. Vicky's wealthy father, James Bradford, Robert Mandan, buys the building from Jack's former boss, Frank Angelino, and James does not approve of Jack, and he constantly tries to disrupt his and Vicky's relationship. Other characters include Easy Taylor, played by Alan Campbell, Jack's eccentric assistant at the bistro, and Claudia Bradford, Jessica Walter, Vicky's mother, and James's ex-wife. I loved Three's a Crowd.
I did too.
I thought PC was just the coolest character.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they'd gotten Larry back because,
Larry appeared in at least one episode.
Yeah.
When he came to visit. Easy was a different contrast to what Jack dealt with in Three's Company, because in Three's Company, Jack became the head chef at Mr. Angelino's restaurant. And the sous chef thought he should have the job instead, and he was constantly trying to sabotage Jack.
Yeah.
Which was very funny in itself. Easy was a different contrast. Easy was great.
Easy was a surfer who could cook.
Yeah, and he wanted nothing but Jack's success.
Yeah.
What I think is wild is Mr. Conrad, right? The father.
Yeah, Bradford.
He was either coming off of or was still doing Soap, which is something else we need to cover at some point. He was one of the main characters on Soap, which a lot of people don't even know that was Billy Crystal's first role.
Yes,
which was great. But I was looking here when Three's Company debuted. March 15th, 1977.
Mm-hmm.
The lineup was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, and then Soap. What a
Oh,
great night of TV.
yeah. Soap was great.
What
Soap
a
was great.
great night of TV. Yes, put a pin in that. Soap. We need to cover that at some point.
So yeah, Soap, and then we got to cover Benson if we're going to cover Soap.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Since that was a spinoff of Soap.
Yes, spinoff of Soap.
There you go. There's an episode right there. Soap and Benson.
Soap and Benson.
But I loved Three's a Crowd. I really did. I loved seeing okay, I was emotionally involved with Jack as a character. I wanted him to succeed and I wanted him to have good. And so he's finally getting his own restaurant, which is what he always wanted.
Yeah. Froggies.
But you still have...
Which was one of the names that somebody proposed. And then Miss Curly was like, why are we having such trouble coming up with a name for Jack's Bistro? And that's what they picked. Sorry. Please go ahead, continue.
No, and then you still have the foil. You still have the woman living with a man, unmarried. Mm-hmm. The father's very against that. And so he's constantly the foil, but he gets just as good as he gives. I thought Three's a Crowd was really, really good, and I don't think it was given enough time. No. It had a decent viewership rating, but not great in today's standards. It would
be exceptional, yeah.
And so it wasn't given enough time, and John Ritter refused to sign on for another season unless they promised to he refused to sign on for a potential second season unless they guaranteed the full first season, which the broadcast company ABC would not.
Yeah.
They wanted to they greenlit 13 episodes and that was it. Mm-hmm. And John Ritter said, you either greenlit the rest or I'm done after this.
I'm done after this. Yeah, I'll go do something else.
And that's sad because this show had amazing potential.
It had legs.
Yeah.
The British the British series that it was based on actually did really well.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into it. It's called Robin's Nest.
Robin's Nest.
That was okay. So Jack's Bistro is the name of the restaurant that got opened at the end of Three's Company. Robin's Nest is the name of the restaurant that got opened at the end of Man About the House. Both named for the male character, because the male character in the Man About the House is called Robin Tripp, as opposed to Jack Tripper. Robin's Nest is a British sitcom produced by Thames Television that aired on the ITV network for 6 series from January of 1977 to March of 1981. Richard O'Sullivan reprised the role as Robin Tripp, a lead character from the sitcom Man About the House, which had ended in April of 1976. The series co-stars Tessa Wyatt as Robin's girlfriend and later wife Vicky, and Tony Britton as her father. O'Sullivan and Wyatt were a romantic couple in real life at the time and had a son together. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, so they were actually together. Robin Tripp and Vicky Nichols are an unmarried couple who share a flat over an abandoned Chinese takeaway owned by Vicky's father, James. Vicky refuses to wed Robin despite his continuous proposals, as she is averse to marriage after witnessing her parents' contentious marriage and divorce. Robin opens a French bistro called Robin's Nest in the abandoned space below their apartment, with James as his business partner and landlord. James, who disapproves of Robin and his living arrangement with Vicky, frequently interferes with the operation of the restaurant. James also frequently clashes with his ex-wife, Marion. Robin employs a clumsy, one-armed dishwasher called Albert Riddle. Robin and Vicky eventually marry, and Vicky gives birth to a set of twins. At the end of the last episode, Vicky tells Robin that she is pregnant again. Creators and writers Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer gained special permission from the Independent Broadcasting Authority, the regulatory body for television in Britain, to portray an unmarried couple living together, especially because of scenes in which Robin and Vicky are undressed in bed together. So they had to get special dispensation from the censors to show it. But it was a continuation of the story. It probably didn't hurt that the two main actors were actually married and had kids.
Mm-hmm.
who were in it. So yeah, I think that's probably what they would have done with Three's a Crowd had it had a chance to go on. Is Jack's Bistro, Robin's Nest, would have become a successful bistro. They'd have ended up getting married and have kids, and tra-la-la, everybody would have been happy. But ABC decided not to do that. And it may be because ABC was afraid that if they committed to it, it wouldn't last. Because that whole Three's Company, Roper's, Three's a Crowd run was from 1977 to like 1985. There was a lot of cultural change that happened in that period of time. You know what I mean? Well, our society changed from 77 to 85. It's just, that's the way it was. And whereas with Robin's Nest, you got 1973 to 1981. I don't think it changed that much in Britain. You know what I mean? I don't think society was as different in that period as it was in America. So maybe that's why. But again, Man About the House did not run nearly as long as Three's Company did. Maybe that's the difference. It ran like 4 seasons. The Ropers ran like 4 seasons, and Robin's Nest ran 6. Whereas here, Three's Company ran 8 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the main difference. But yeah, that's about it for Three's Company and more.
That's good stuff. Like I said, having never seen the British ones, I was just familiar with them because they very openly gave credit to the shows that they were not stealing from, but heavily
adapting.
Borrowing from.
Yeah, they adapted.
Yeah. And I loved it. John Ritter as Jack Tripper was just phenomenal. I loved his character in that. I loved all of it, and I've watched every single episode time and time again. I guarantee it, time and time again. Seen him in repeats many times. Had some absolutely brilliant shows that were out in the 70s that you may have missed. So definitely check out what you can on these. I can't comment on the British ones because I never watched them or never saw them, but I can comment on the American ones, and they were great. Except I really didn't care for the Ropers. Jeffrey Tambor was great in his role as the foil against Mr. Roper, but overall, I thought it was kind of a weak show. So thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Sure.
With that, we will step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off Ground News, Wikipedia, Medium, the Copenhagen Post, Wikipedia, Daggins.dk, and this is the story of Emilie Meng.
Emilie Meng.
So this story takes place in Denmark.
Okay.
I am going to struggle with names and places and things like that. So anybody from Denmark who's listening, I apologize. I'm doing the best I can with this.
Trouble with the Danish, huh?
Yes, I have trouble with these words. So it was July 10th, 2016, just after 4 a.m. It was a very quiet summer morning in the Denmark small town of Korsør. 17-year-old Emilie Anine Skovgaard Meng, who was on the cusp of adulthood. She was happy because she had just graduated, and she was about to part ways with her friends at Korsør railway station. She chose to walk home under the dim streetlights, which was only 2.5 kilometers away on a gravel path. And one by one, the lights began to flicker off, and then she just disappeared. This, however, is not just a missing persons case. It ended up being a national nightmare. There was a very heartfelt search, a very haunting death, and justice that was delayed by entirely too many years. It's a young life that was lost. and the endurance of a country that eventually led Denmark to closure, because this was big in Denmark. This was real big. So at first, everything seemed very ordinary for a teenage night out. The laughs, the love, the celebrations, and the late night train ride, as they will. Emily and her friends had just finished their high school finals and celebrating graduation. They were celebrating in Slagel. We'll go with that. Sampling shisha and fries under the neon lights. The last train was at 2 a.m. It brought them home, but Emily refused the comfort of a taxi and insisted that she just wanted to walk alone. At 4:03 a.m., her smartphone pinged. Investigators say it might have been a message that worried her or an argument that was overheard, but it was her final known contact. She stepped onto a narrow gravel path that led through through allotments, past canals, and it was under very sparse street lights. Should have been a very short, quiet walk home, but again, in the silence, she just vanished. By 9:30
We're talking
a.m.,
like 5-10 minute walk, something like that.
2.5 kilometers, not far.
No, it's
not far at all.
Not. No, well, maybe not 5-10 minutes. Maybe 20 at a slow pace. Yeah,
maybe. If she was taking a nice leisurely one, which she probably was.
Yeah. She's probably tired.
Yeah. Well, by 9:30 a.m., the church scrolls were out reading St. Paul's service, but Emily is not there, as she normally would be, and panic has spread across her family. They did call the local police, which they mobilized. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteers also mobilized. By the afternoon, there was 300 people searching for her, combing through fields, going into waterways.
By that afternoon.
Yeah, that's why I said.
You say what you want to about Scandinavia, but they sound like they's on it.
Yeah. They climbed into waterways and were posting flyers on every electric pole. There was a theory that she had run away, but that got quickly dismissed. Emily had texted her mother earlier that evening and had no history of running away. There were rumors of a breakup or a lover's quarrel that soon died in official statements. By nightfall, they were searching with night vision cameras, drones, and helicopters. They suspected at the time maybe she slipped near the canal, maybe there was a traffic accident, maybe she was followed. Tips did begin to come in. Someone saw headlights on that gravel road around 4 a.m. Another heard loud bangs, possibly the trunk opening or closing. Two persons of interest surfaced. There was a truck driver whose GPS matched local roads that morning, and a 67-year-old man whose allotment neighbors reported odd noises. Their house was searched 5 times, but those leads failed to provide anything. The search continued to grow. They then moved into local woods, to the coastline, into every lake. There were parents, students, retirees, all kinds of volunteers that were hoping to discover something, but there was nothing. On December 24th, families across Denmark were preparing for Christmas Eve, and in Regnemarks, Baki, going with that,
okay.
near the town of Borup, some 60 kilometers from Korsør, there was a dog walker who stumbled upon a site. There was a body in the water. This is hundreds of days that have passed since Emily disappeared. The body is discovered and identified as Emilie Meng. Official autopsy did confirm strangulation was the cause of death, so now we had a murder investigation. The police held a press conference, and they acknowledged that a teenage girl full of plans, full of life, met her end in a foreign pond by menace. Within 48 hours, 300 mourners united in grief lighted candles at Korsør Station. Her funeral was held at the church that she attended on January 19th, and was attended by friends, classmates, teachers, and the entire town stood silent as her coffin was carried away. For investigators now, this is no longer a search. Again, it has become a full-blown homicide investigation.
Fort Worth to Dallas. That's a distance. Sorry, I had to look at it.
Is it? No problem.
Yeah, it's like Fort Worth. Well, it's 37 miles, and I think that's about right. Like East Fort Worth
maybe.
to West Dallas. Yeah.
It's the amount of distance between Fort Worth and Denton.
Yeah.
So, forensic analysis mapped her cell phone pings that morning, the ones that took her near the station, then ran through the residential grid, then the canal. They reconstructed her route, but what they don't have is a suspect. 6 months later, the case gets a light shined on it. In June of 2017, there was a weathered clip from a station's CCTV that revealed something previously unseen. There was a light-colored Hyundai i30 made between 2011 and 2016, once circling the Corsair station parking lot at 4:07 a.m., which is minutes after Emily's probable disappearance. The footage itself was murky and grainy, but it led to breakthroughs. International experts enhanced the frames and ended up confirming the make and model with uncanny precision. Denmark
plate.
They did not get a plate at that point. Denmark launched a vehicle and cell phone suite of 400,000 cars, cross-referenced with 50,000 phone records tied to early that morning. Witnesses came forward, someone who heard the heavy noise by the water, someone who saw the headlight inching down the gravel. So hope was renewed in the town, but then hope faltered again as the case grew cold and the investigation stretched into months and then into a year. Public trackers noted that elite units, police task forces had been disbanded, and experts were beginning to question whether enough resources were put at this. By late 2018, the talk of it is just a cold case file. There's maps that are collecting dust. Families fear that news coverage will fade into memories, but their hopes are that criminals leave traces because traces can be tied to people. Now we're going to fast forward 5 years. In April 15th, 2013, a 13-year-old named Philippa disappears delivering newspapers in Kirkerup. She vanished mid-days, and helicopters quickly went to the sky to search for her. The Prime Minister broke in with the story so that the nation could then start tracking the updates. And within
Holy shit!
Yeah.
They take this pretty damn seriously.
When a kid disappears, it's a whole lot better than here, isn't it?
Hell yeah, it is.
Within 72 hours, the police made a breakthrough in Svenstrup. They find her bundled, bound, but alive. And they arrested a 32-year-old man, Philip Patrick West, Westh,
West.
He was a market manager who was living in the area. Media report called it a, quote, national exhale. The rescue united a weary country and broke open the case everyone feared remained sealed. The phone, the car, everything collided at that point. Authorities quickly linked West to the unsolved Corsair case, and he becomes the man who unwittingly reopened Emily's case. He's charged almost immediately, not with just the Kirkerup abduction, but with Emily's murder and an earlier case in Sorrow from November of 2022. Forensic teams uncover a white Hyundai i30 in Slovakia, which was confirmed to have been sold by West in 2016. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of his name, but it's West with an H on it.
West.
Anyway, the Hyundai matched the vehicle in the grainy footage. And then the big breakthrough, DNA. Turns out that West was part of the original pool of 1,450 DNA samples in 2016, but the sample from Emily's scene had been degraded. But now with better tests and fresh evidence, it all matched up. Inside his digital devices, prosecution uncovered payment timestamps matching the day of Emily's disappearance, and were able to create a map of suspicion that wasn't chance, but it was actual patterns. On May 14th, 2024, West pleads partly guilty to the Kirkerup kidnapping, but not to attempt on Emily or the Sorrow girl. On June 28th, 2024, a unanimous jury renders the verdict guilty on all counts. He's sentenced to life imprisonment, which is Denmark's most severe penalty. He's still planning an appeal, and prosecutors are still seeking rape convictions. But then everything changed. There was a kidnapping in another town, which was a rescue that forced old truce out. Um, this is what ended up getting him, and he's not going to get his appeal at all. He's absolutely not, because there was yet another one that he was attributed to, and he just got away with it. They missed him.
Yeah. Not this time, baby. When the head of the country calls out,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's like, oh my God.
Right. This is where I'm going to stumble a lot. There was a lot that was made of this. There was an investigative journalism TV show, and it was TV2's Pavor Air Polite. We'll go with that.
Okay.
And DR's. This is I can't do this one. Okay, let me get with this one. An effort to force kinging Gargalt.
Okay.
These actually exposed gaps in the response time of police. They don't think it was enough. So that was kind of an aftermath of this. There were podcasts and books, which exploded with listenership. There were calls to return for task forces like the once presumed extinct Regis Holdit, which are special units dedicated to delicate investigations. There was a petition with over 20,000 signatures pushing for reform, and policymakers pushing to prioritize missing person classification within hours, not days. I don't see how that worked here, because it seemed like they were on it.
They were on it.
I don't know.
But hey, she didn't show up at 9:30 in the morning. Hey, she didn't show up, and then they went out in mass.
Or
and by that afternoon, they had drones and people dredging rivers.
Maybe the timeline's a little different. Maybe the town mobilized before police did. And maybe that's
a good
what
point.
happened.
Yeah. The town decided to get up on it instead.
I mean, they did say that they thought that the task force gave up too early, that they should have kept going with it. There are still memorials that continue. There are still candlelit gatherings. Her name appears on school exams. There are people that say, commuter parking lots, that you need to make sure you're very careful in those to try to prevent those. Emilie Meng left home expecting to return, and unfortunately that night she didn't.
She did not.
It took nearly 8 years, forensic breakthroughs, and a second child to bring a man to justice. This is just one of those that reminds us, the worst person in our everyday life could be in hiding. Yeah. I'm not saying be suspicious of everybody, but you actually got to keep your eyes out.
Yeah. Not saying be suspicious, but suspicious.
You got to keep your eyes out for that. And you got to watch for that. But I thought that this one was one that, again, this is someone who deserves to have a name, deserves to have a name out there, because her life was tragically cut short. If you find this stuff that I talk about in this episode or any of the others that I've covered, if you find them very meaningful, please share this story. Keep memories like Emilie's alive. Just her one voice comes out from the grave, and in this case helped shape the nation's conscience. You can do the same here. Keep talking about these people, because they deserve to have their name still called out. They deserve to have their memory kept alive, because unfortunately their lives were tragically cut short. So that's another reason I do these episodes. But that's the sad story of Emilie Meng.
Well, thank you, sir.
You bet. I appreciate you sticking with me on that. That will take us to the end of another one of our episodes. You can find more about us on nerderymurdery.com. You'll find links to this episode, pictures of this episode, as well as the link to our YouTube, which Zig so often updates.
Yes, please go and check out the YouTube page, because you'll actually, depending on where you're listening to this from, you get to see the other side of it. And they're all bookended together.
Yeah. Very true. I do appreciate all the work you do on that. You can also find the link to our merchandise page, where if you wish to show off your Nerdery Murdery fandom, please do consider something from there. You'll also find the link to our Patreon. Our patrons, along with our purchasers of merchandise, do help with the costs that are associated with that show. There are costs that keep us on the air for our storage, for our upload, for our website, and everything like that, and we do appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. One thing you can do for free, though, is leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It helps us, helps others find our episode that may be looking for the topics that we discuss. And last, but so very not least, good night, Chuck.
Good night, Chuck.
With that,
I have been Zig with your Nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery.
Cue the music.
Curious mind, Zig and Geoffrey dive in deep. Nerdery and murdery, no sleep. From superheroes to crime, they take us through space and time. Geeky tales and mysteries enter worlds no one else sees. Nerdery and murdery, here we go. We're Zig and Geoffrey, this we know. Stories wild, facts unfold, adventures big and tales of old. Comic books and killers too, techie stuff old and new. Travel through their wonderland, nerdery and murdery hand in hand. Every episode a ride, with our hosts as our guide. Laugh and shiver, feel the thrill. Come and join us if you will. Nerdery and murdery, here we go. With Zig and Geoffrey, this we know. Stories wild, facts unfold, adventures big and tales of old. Comic books and killers too, techie stuff old and new. Travel through their wonderland, nerdery and murdery hand in hand. Every episode a ride, with our hosts as our guide. Laugh and shiver, feel the thrill. Come and join us if you will.